What is going on, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome to a brand new post-commentary duel video. We've got me on the right piloting Invoked Mekk-Knight versus my friend Adam on the left playing some pure Thunder Dragon. This is, I believe, my most up-to-date list of Invoked Mekk. If you guys haven't seen that community post I made about my pure Mekk-Knight deck list, the one that I basically in 10 rounds of Swiss, I went 8-2 at a locals. I played 2 locals back-to-back. Ended up splitting for first. In the first one, it was 4 rounds of Swiss, and then a top 8 and top 4, and then the other locals just 4 rounds of Swiss, went X1. Played very, very well with that. If you guys want to see the list, it's in the Discord under the Deck Ideas channel under the category Main. So if you want to go ahead and check that out, feel free to. Link to the Discord below. But yeah, so getting started here on the left, the Aloof Lupine. Banishing the Dark to banish what I believe is Roar, and then going to be able to special summon off of Roar, Thunder Dragon monster, I believe, and also add one off of the Dark, since they're both being banished by this one of Aloof Lupine, the goodest boy. So he's going to summon Dark off the Roar, and looks like he's going to add Hawk off of the Dark. So far, a pretty productive turn, if you ask me. He can use that Hawk in his hand if he wants to revive something from grave or banished. But Pure Thunder seems to be creeping its way back into the meta simply because I think Nibiru, now that it is finally in the format and we have cards like Nibiru and Dark Ruler no more, I feel like a Crusadia Guard Dragon deck, which we have seen in the past, which can pop off a little bit harder and is more combo oriented, this feels like it's sort of going back to its grassroots and playing more control and stun, ending on multiple copies of Colossus and a Titan, that card we haven't seen in quite some time. So it's nice to see Titan finding its way back into the meta. So now he's going to pitch that Hawk after linking to Cyframe Lord Lambda, which I believe he wished he would have gone into Beat Cop, which I don't think was in his extra deck at the time. Keep in mind, these are testing matches, so if you see some experimental things, keep in mind that is why. These are testing matches. This is not a feature match for my locals. This is a testing match. I didn't get to record at my locals, the mega tournament I went to, or the other locals, because I wanted to play and play test in those locals and those tournaments. So I'm ready to go, to the YCS, at least get some testing, because I will be going to YCS Niagara this year, so I'm super excited for that. Probably going to be taking Pure Mekk-Knight as well. Yeah, so I wanted to record the night before the locals, so I'd be able to play in it, because I cannot record and play at the same time. But we're seeing the Darkest Diabolos at the board, and not only that, are we seeing a Chaos Dragon Levianeer, basically gonna allow him to send 2 cards from my hand back into the deck. The first one's gonna go via Levianeer, and I believe he hit a secret out of my hand, World Legacy Secret, which again wasn't that big of a deal to me. It's actually getting some of the worst cards out of my hand. It ended up happening, and I think here we're probably gonna see the Diabolos activate. We're gonna tribute away the Chaos Dragon Levianeer, and going to stack one back to the top of my deck, I believe, or to the bottom. But luckily for me, I've got the Widow Anchor to stop the Colossus, which is huge because I've also got Meltdown, which is going to resolve here, allowing me to get a copy of that Alistair the Invoker. So far, so good. A pretty good start to this turn. If I did not have that Widow Anchor, and of course I'm playing the Striker engine and the Shaddoll engine in this build, which I think is the way to go, to be honest. I was enjoying playing Invoked Mekk the other night with both engines in, Shaddoll and Sky Striker. I think they both add something really good to the deck, in my opinion, after all the testing I've been doing with it, and I think they both work well in there. So Blue Sky going to resolve for 2, adding Indigo and Red Moon. Luckily, he's got no hand traps to stop. That Colossus, of course, is turned off for this turn. So I've got to make the push now, and I pretty much might be able to OTK as well, starting off with that Alistair. Well, not starting off, but bringing that card down to the field now. I'm going to go ahead and grab the copy of Invocation. And I think instead of linking directly into Alistair the Invoker of Madness like you normally would, I think I'd go into the Almirage first. Because I want to be able to get this fire target in grave, and I know that if I get Almirage on field, I can still link the Almirage and the Blue Sky into Alistair Invoker of Madness But what am I doing here extra that I wouldn't have been doing otherwise is getting a fire target in my grave. Getting a fire target in my grave for none other than Purgatrio. So I'm going to set one special summon blue, or the Indigo Eclipse, and move it over to special summon. Now, I don't think I needed to set a card to make this column. Obviously, he has the Lambda and Diabolus, but I wanted to have the Red Moon in that same column as the Colossus, so I can clear that out of the way. Of course, it's negated, so it cannot protect itself. First invocation being played here, and that's going to banish Alistair and Almirage for Purgatrio, which is currently standing at 2,700 because it's gaining 4 right now because he has 2 cards, so he's at 23 normally, gaining 4, putting up to 27, which is not quite enough to get over the Diabolos, and it is enough to get over the Lambda, but not quite enough to get over the Diabolos, which could prove to be pretty bad. I gotta clear that card or else it's gonna be pretty problematic. Now, I did have an extra copy of Invocation in my hand, and I forgot to use the discard effect of Invoker of Madness, so he let me go back and quickly discard. I know I should have done it before I recycled the Alistair with the Invocation and all, but I still had that extra copy in hand. I showed him that I still had the extra copy to be able to, you know, legally activate it in the sequence that I should have been able to, or would have been if been able to, if that makes any sense. But either way, getting that Book of Law to my hand can prove to be pretty crucial. I've also got that Alistair in hand that you saw me recycle off of the Invocation effect. And I have to pretty much boost my Purgatrio up with the Alistair. And that could potentially be game. I don't know what other cards he could possibly have in the situation, but now he's up at 37, which can 100% beat over the Diabolos. So we're going to go into battle phase here. I'm going to swing over top for 700, drop him down to 73, and then over Lambda, and my Purgatrio will drop down to 25, so he'll only take, I believe, 800 there, and then going to swing in with 23 from Red Moon, 24 from Blue Sky, and 18 from that Invoker of Madness, which is game, I believe, because he'll take an additional 47, 57, plus 8. If it isn't game, I had the Book of Law anyways just to show. So as we head into game 2, I want to mention a quick shout out to our sponsor at Imperium Duelists. They are the providers of this amazing playmat you see us using here, the Toon Extravaganza playmat, and the sleeves that I'm currently using in this duel, the main deck and extra deck sleeves. You want to check out any of the amazing sleeves, mats, dice, calculator cases, you name it, card game accessories, check out the link to their website down below, and that discount code you can use to save 10% off your entire order. Yeah, but as you see, he makes me go first here in game 2, which is pretty common. Most people will opt Mekk-Knight to go first in game 2 to sort of disable the Mekk-Knight engine. So engage for Hornet Drones, Kagari add back Hornet Drones, go into the 1-card Alistair Invoker of Madness, and I grab Alistair normal summon for Invocation. Now, I could have fusioned into the Purgatrio, discard for Book of Law for Mekaba his turn, hope for the best. You know, one Mekaba really isn't going to cut it nowadays, unless you have some back row or hand traps to back it up. I could have extended more, but I did not want to. I felt like because I did see some side deck cards, and we'll see those side deck cards in a moment. We did side, and I didn't want to invest anymore. I felt pretty confident in the sides that I had. If he had the outs to the sides, he had the outs. But again, like I said, I could have gone into, per se, Purgatrio, ditched for Book of Law, and gone that route to just spring a Mekaba on him during his turn, but I decided to do the alternate play, which is to leave the Sanctum set, flip it up in the standby phase, and hope he does not have an Ash for it, which I don't believe he did. Luckily, I don't think he has an Impermanence as well, so this is going to go through. It's going to completely lock him out from the extra deck, and that effect is going to activate. I do have a backup Lancia in my hand as well alongside Invocation, so you can sort of see why I didn't want to go the route of, you know, fusing into Purgatrio, discarding a card, because I would have to lose my Lancia, which I did not want to discard at all, especially in this matchup. Now, Lancia isn't the greatest against Pure Thunder. You only turn off a select amount of cards. You stop them from putting Duo on the board. You stop the Gold Sarcophagus, which I could have chained here, but I decided not to because I didn't view this Gold Sarc as too much of a threat. I was waiting for Big Daddy Levianeer to get to his hand, or cards like Duo, or him to, you know, get a Colossus on board to, because usually when they make Colossus, they're going to banish the Colossus and another Thunder from hand to be able to get Titan out, which I did not want to be able to do. Now, obviously, activating this here would have been bad, because that way he would just get to draw 2. But luckily, I don't activate it there. So, and I'm kind of holding on to this Lancia, as I said. So he's gonna banish the Dart or the Roar off of the Allure of Darkness to summon out the Dark from deck. So far, looking like a pretty solid Thunder board. It's just he is locked out of the extra deck right now. And as a Thunder player, what options do you have when you've been Lancia'd? And as it stands, if you can't clear any of the cards on my field, I've already got a Boral Sword set up. I've got a Link 2 with 2 other monsters. That goes right up into a Link 4 known as Boral Sword, putting a light target in my grave for that Invocation, which I was waiting to get access to. Now, there is the Melody of Awakening Dragon. And he discards there and adds the Diabolos and the Big Daddy Levianeer. Now, this is where I got a little nervous. So on the resolution of that, I was going to chain the Lancia. So that Levianeer completely dead in his hand now, turning that off because that could be pretty tragic. If he hits that hits the board, possible pop 2, and setting me back quite a bit, which I was not wanting to have happen. So at this point, he cannot go into the extra deck. He cannot banish any cards. Neither player can banish any cards. So I'm feeling pretty confident here that his turn is probably over. Having to discard a D-shifter there off the Melody, so probably not too happy about that. And then he's going to pass. That will get bounced back to his hand because of the Roar, I believe. Or I think it's Hawk that might do that. I'm pretty sure it's Roar, but yeah. So going to pass to me, draw for turn. And then I sort of see the line, which is just sort of going to Boral Sword at this point. I've got Kagari in grave as well, and I've got this light target that I'm putting in my grave. Now I'm going to start with the Desires. So I want to see if I can sort of bait out any hand traps or anything like that that might stop any future plays I'm trying to make. Lo and behold, there's the Ash. And I don't think I banished too terribly off of the Desires here, so that's good. Now we're going to go ahead and link, I believe. And this is where I'm seeing that line. I'm just going to try to go for the OTK, just try and shotgun it. There's really nothing that set card could be, at least that I think. It definitely can't be a Thunder Monster because he did not tribute the set. So it's probably a hand trap, could be an Aloof Lupine, could be a Matrix, could be any of those smaller cards that are played in the main deck of Thunder. So there's the Boral Sword, the Trusty Steed, Invocation being activated as a follow-up here. Looking to banish the Scythe Engrave, but I go for the Lancia instead, because if I get access to World Legacy Secret, I can possibly revive that Scythe to lock him out of the extra deck an additional turn. Add back the Alistair off the Invocation, just normal it right away since I have not normal summoned yet. Play the Invocation again, banish the Alistair, banish the Kagari, and we're going to waste no time in going for the Purgatrio now, which is exactly what I needed to get on board to be able to secure a game. So we have Alistair Mekaba and Boral, or not Alistair Mekaba, we have Purgatrio Mekaba, Boral Sword with 1 set. Battle Phase Pierce, it is just a Matrix. So it'll take a lot of damage there, quite a bit. And then 25, 3k, and then turn to defense for another 3k. So that ends up being game right then and there. Invoked Mekk-Knight taking the 2-0 against the Pure Thunder deck. I think it's a pretty decent matchup. You just need to see outs to the Colossus. That's the hardest thing. Now, the one thing I was going to say earlier is Pure Thunder has a very good way of playing around cards like Nibiru, because there are a lot of times you can make solid boards of double Colossus or Colossus Titan with just under 5 summons, which is very, very crucial in today's meta, because Nibiru is a very real threat. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like. So, as guys, Winner Kill is signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one.